بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So another example of Ahlul Bayt's tafsir of the Holy Quran and how they differ with other schools of thought. And that is ayah number 4, Surah An-Nisa, chapter number 4, ayah number 24. فَمَا اسْتَمْتَعْتُمْ بِهِ مِنْهُنَّ فَآتُوهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ فَرِيضَةً. And those women, that's the translation, and those women whom you enjoy thereby, give unto them their bride wealth, muhurahun, ujurahun. Ajr, brides, it is the bride wealth. Or dowry, you can call it dowry too. As an obligation, faridatan. You have to give her the dowry. Dowry is an obligation. Some people say, well, we don't need dowry. No, you have to have. You don't need it, you can give it back. But you have to take the dowry. And that is in reference to the temporary, or I'd like to call it a timed marriage. Timed. A timed marriage. Timed. Some people call it temporary. Some people call it mut'a because it's taken from the Quran. فَمَا اسْتَمْتَعْتُمْ بِهِ. Istamta'tum, the Quran is using the verb. Now, both the traditions, in the Sunni and the Shia traditions, they believe that timed marriage has been introduced by the Quran and by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And both believe that it had been practiced during the time of the Prophet and the time of the first caliph, and some people say 2 years into the reign of the second caliph too. 2 years. Now, the disagreement between the Shias and the Sunnis is about whether it has been abrogated or still valid abrogation, which is naskh. Is it mansukh? Is this mansukha? Abrogated, or it is still valid? The Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they unanimously agree that this ayah still muhkam, which is still valid. لا يزال حكمها ثابتا في الشريعة. The ruling of this verse still valid and existing in Sharia. Beside the ulama of Ahlul Bayt, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Beside the ulama of Ahlul Bayt, there is a group which we're going to mention their names, of the Sahaba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the greatest Sahaba of the Prophet. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, those heavyweight companions of the Prophet, they believe that it is valid. It was never invalidated or abrogated, neither by an ayah nor by a hadith of the Prophet. Ibn Kathir I don't know how much you are familiar with this man. Ibn Kathir is an anti-Shia, of course, from the Salafi tradition. He says, وَقَدْ اسْتُدِلَّ بِعُمُومِ هَذِهِ الْآيَةِ عَلَى نِكَاحِ الْمُتْعَةِ. This ayah, which is 4:24, has been used as an evidence for the legality and permissibility of the timed marriage, of the mut'ah. ولا شك أنه كان مشروعا في ابتداء الإسلام. No doubt that mut'ah was مشروع, permissible in the beginning of Islam. ثم نسخ بعد ذلك. After that it was abrogated. And then he says وقد روي عن ابن عباس وطائفة من الصحابة. And Ibn Kathir continues to say, after saying that it was abrogated, he says, but nevertheless, it has been narrated by Ibn Abbas and a group of the companions of the Prophet, القول بإباحتها للضرورة. Still, it is valid in case of emergency, ضرورة, necessity.
How do you define emergency, say?
If you have no wife, and you are in a situation, you can't marry permanent. You don't want to marry permanent. You don't want to establish a family. You don't want to have a permanent wife, to have children. You are dispatched somewhere 6 months in the North Pole. You don't want to have a family in the North Pole. You want to come back home. And you can't. Let's say some people, they cannot control themselves. So, let me summarize for you the opinion of the Sunni tradition. One group, all of them, they believe that it was halal in the beginning. Okay? Permissible. The Prophet made it permissible for his companions in many occasions. A group of them, a second group, believes that it was forbidden by the Prophet. So the Prophet made it permissible for some time, and then he came back and he said to his companions, stop doing this. Another Sunni group, those are the Sunnis. A third group believed that it was prohibited by Umar, not by the Prophet, because until the Prophet died, it was halal. During the time of Abu Bakr, it was halal, it was practiced. 2 years into the reign of Umar, it was practiced. Umar ibn al-Khattab himself came and prohibited this practice. And he said, not only that I prohibit, وَأُعَاقِبْ عَلَيْهِمَا, I am so tough on this, and I'm going to punish anyone that practices this type of marriage is going to be punished by me.
What was the reason you said? What was the...
We will come to the reason. Some scholars like Ibn al-Arabi, he says, وَأَمَّا مُتْعَةُ النِّسَاء. This is interesting, Dr. Ali. Ibn al-Arabi, a Sunni scholar, he says, وَأَمَّا مُتْعَةُ النِّسَاء فَهِيَ مِنْ غَرَائِبِ الشَّرِيعَةِ. Something very strange in Sharia. لأنها أبيحت في صدر الإسلام. It was permissible in the beginning of Islam. ثم حرمت يوم خيبر. It was banned the day of Khaybar. ثم أبيحت, again it was made permissible في غزوة أوطاس, one of the excursions, military excursions named Awtas. So the Prophet again allowed the Sahaba. ثم حرمت بعد ذلك. After that again it was banned. واستقر الأمر على التحريم. He says this type of marriage, one day it's permissible, the other day it's not permissible. One day it's permissible. That's the only thing in Sharia that we found that it was fluctuating.
He was a Sufi too, right?
Yes, Ibn Arabi. But most of the scholars, beside the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, those are the grand Sahaba that believe that until the death of the Prophet, the timed marriage, Zawajul Mut'ah, was permissible and halal. Who are those? Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari. This is a very heavyweight companion, which is accepted in both traditions. Abdullah bin Mas'ud, one of the scholars of the Holy Quran, the tafsir and the ta'wil of Holy Quran. Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abu Sa'id al-Khidri, another companion of the Prophet. Amr ibn Harith. Amr ibn Harith. And interestingly enough, a lady also, one of the Sahaba, the daughter of the first caliph, Asma bint Abi Bakr. Asma, Abu Bakr had Aisha and Asma. Asma is one of his respected daughters. Also Asma, she believed that until the death of the Prophet, we did not hear of prohibition regarding this type. And then of course, from the Tabi'een are the second generation after Sahaba. Sa'id ibn Jubair, Ata, Tawus, those are Wasairu Fuqaha Mecca, the jurists of Mecca. They believe that it was not banned. And there are many hadith mentioned in Bukhari and Muslim, both. An-Nasa'i and Tirmidhi, I'm going to give you a selection of them, that many companions, people were confused after the Prophet. Is this halal or haram? Should we practice it or not? So they come to reliable companions of the Prophet and they ask them. One of them is Jabir bin Abdullah. Muslim in his book, أخرج Muslim, Sahih Muslim, in his book, قدم جابر بن عبد الله معتمرا فجئناه في منزله. He came to the Umrah, so we came to go to, we went to visit him to clarify the subject with him because he saw the Prophet, he was all the time with the Prophet. فسأله القوم عن أشياء ثم ذكروا المتعة. They asked him several questions and then they asked about متعة. فقال نعم استمتعنا على عهد رسول الله وأبي بكر وعمر. We practiced this type of marriage during the time of the Prophet and the time of Abu Bakr and the time of Umar. Another Sahabi, when he was asked, he mentioned this ayah. He is very smart. To avoid being punished by the political establishment. He brought an example from the Quran. From the Quran, Surah Al-Ma'idah. Surah Al-Ma'idah is chapter 5, verse 87. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la. He answered indirectly from the Quran. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tuharrimu tayyibati ma ahalla Allahu lakum. Do not forbid tayyibat, lawful things, which God made lawful for you. Why do you prohibit yourself from them? Now, let me read this story and then we find why Umar prohibited this act. Abu Ja'far al-Tabari, of course, the most famous Muslim historian. Tarikh al-Tabari is very famous. Tarikh al-Tabari. He relates this story to one of the companions who was close to the second caliph by the name of Imran ibn Sawada. He says, I did the Fajr prayers with Umar in the mosque. And then we were walking outside the mosque. I said to him, I need to speak to you. Umar said, okay, come to the house. So Umar sat on a sarir. Sarir means bed, you know. And I said to him, عابت أمتك عليك أربعا. Your ummah, your community, they have 4 aibs, defects on you. They found 4 defects with you. They have a problem with you in 4 matters. Should I mention them to you? He said, of course. Tell me, what does my community do? Because at that time there is no intelligence service to send reports to the caliph what people are saying in the market, in the street. No, they have not established that. Later on, during the time of Muawiyah, he established the jawasis, so-called jasus. But during the time of the Khulafa, no intelligence, apparatus. So this man is reflecting the view of the street, the public. He said, number 1, you made Umratul Hajj. You made the Umrah during the season of Hajj haram. Neither the Prophet did that, nor Abu Bakr. And it is halal. Why did you do that? Umar made the Umrah al-Mufrada, during the Hajj season beginning from when? From after Ramadan. Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, these are the months of Hajj. Because people after Ramadan, they leave their homes, they go to Hajj. So he said Umrah is forbidden during the season of Hajj. Why did he do that? Umar said, yes, you are right. The Prophet did not forbid this, neither Abu Bakr. I did, and I tell you the reason why. إنهم لو اعتمروا في أشهر الحج لرأوها مجزية عن حجهم. Because some people, they might misunderstand. If they practice Umrah during the months of Hajj, they think that this will suffice for the Hajj. They don't stay for Hajj, they go home. So this is why I made it mamnu', forbidden. He said, I asked him the second question. This is Imran, the Sahabi. He's asking Umar. أنه حرم متعة النساء وكانت رخصة من الله ونستمتع بقبضة ونفارق عن 3 فاعتذر عمر. Umar said, he asked him, why did you? We used to qabda. What is qabda? We used to give the mahar. Doesn't the Quran say فَآتُوهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ فَرِيضًا in this verse? When you do mut'ah, then you have to do the mahar. They used to, many Sahaba, they said, because at that time they didn't have money. So they used to give the mahar a handful of what? Qabda what? Of what?
Gold.
Huh? Gold? Wow. Gold is that's millions of dollars. Dates. Handful of dates. That was the mahar. Imagine how people were hungry at that time. If a lady accepts her mahar, give her a handful of. Okay? He thought it's gold. Even now they don't give gold,
They demand it though.
They demand. So Umar's answer was, yes, إن رسول الله أحلها في زمان ضرورة. The Prophet made it halal and lawful during the time of necessity or need or emergency. والآن قد رجع الناس إلى السعة. Now people are not in the state of emergency. This is why I forbid this. And then there are, of course, other. He asked him third question and fourth. The fourth one is interesting. إنه يأخذ الرعية بالشدة والعنف. You are too tough, too violent with رعية. You have no mercy. Why you are always angry, always tough, always violent with your subject. فأجاب عمر, his answer, the answer of Umar ibn al-Khattab is إن ذلك مما لا بد منه في انتظام الرعية. This is a must. If I don't do this, if I don't follow this method, which many dictators today in the Arab and Muslim world, they use this excuse. If we don't follow, if we are not tough with people, then it is going to be chaotic. Do you agree with this?
It's not sunnah.
Huh?
It's not like sunnah that the Prophet used to.
No, but is this a reality or not?
Lots of people think that.
It is a reality, definitely. In some countries, if you don't show toughness, people are not going to respect the law. But is this the solution, permanent solution? We should do this for the rest of our life? Why in America and Europe they don't use toughness?
The rules.
Well, they
They're
have
fair
police.
Hmm?
They're fair with people. They give their fair. They have rights. They treat them like humans, and they behave like humans.
They treat them like humans. Why in our countries we are not treated like humans?
Because they don't really care what the rules.
Because they tell you in our countries, they tell you if you treat them like humans, they're going to take advantage of you. They are not going to listen. So it's better to treat them like animals. But is this the right solution? I know. This is a fact. Now, if in some countries, in Iraq, in Iran, in Lebanon, Algeria, Morocco, Egypt, everywhere, Saudi Arabia, if you want to treat them like human beings, they take advantage of you. They take advantage. You have to be tough. But is toughness a permanent solution? Should we do this for the rest of our life?
Because people become, they revolt. They become opposite.
We have to change. The hakim has to do tarbiyah. We have to teach people. In Europe, they taught them. This is why they treat them like humans. But it wasn't the case in the beginning. Europe was very chaotic. Wahshi, brutal society in Europe. Even in America here. It was not a civilized society. People, they used their guns all the time. But then slowly, you bring tarbiyah. You have to uphold the law and teach people since they are in the school that you have to respect the law. You have to teach parents first how to respect their families. You have to teach the children how to respect their parents. Tarbiyah takes time. Maybe it takes 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years. It takes time. But this is not the solution that always I have to be tough. This is a perpetual cycle of violence. So here, this was his excuse, that I have to be tough. Then why the Prophet was not tough before you? Few years before you, not many generations. Why he wasn't tough? وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا. In fact, God says to the Prophet, if you are tough, فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَنْفَضُّ مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. You will destroy the society. And God does not want us to be like animals, to be treated like animals. God says even in matter of religion. This is why I am against imposing hijab. Don't impose hijab. Be like Turkey. Turkey is an Islamic state. Half of women, maybe 60% of them, maybe, are with hijab, 40% without hijab. People are enjoying their life. The one who's wearing hijab, she believes in it. This is why she wears full hijab, and she's proud of it. And the one who does not, wear it, she's not harassed. Nobody is harassing her. Free country. That's the way. In Malaysia, go to Malaysia, 90% of women wearing hijab. 90%. And it's not a law. It's not by law, by choice. Because there are 10% who are not wearing. Some of them are Muslims, some of them are non-Muslims. They don't wear. They don't have to wear. And those who wear it, they wear a proper hijab. Proper hijab. You enjoy seeing their hijab. They respect the hijab. Men respect the hijab and women respect the hijab. Because it's not imposed on them. So we cannot take people with tough, take them to prison, to jail because she's not wearing hijab. You know, what then if when she was, then she shouldn't get credit from God because she's not doing it for the sake of God. She's doing it for the sake of government. So I am against this, to be tough and brutal with your subjects, because if you don't do this, they're going to take advantage of you. This is wrong. You have to teach them. Your job is to teach them, not to take advantage.
I was saying, was, Umar, was he, did he change or was it always like that? Because let's say first the pool of population that, you know, you were ruling was smaller and then it became expanded, there's more responsibility.
No. From the beginning, if you study his psychology, from the beginning he believed in violence. In fact, the first person who introduced violence in Islam during the time of the Prophet was Umar ibn Khattab. Yeah, he was the first person, because Abu Bakr was mellow, you know, he was mild. So the first person who really institutionalized violence was Umar ibn Khattab. And if you read about his ahwal, they write ahwal, his condition, his status, he would use the durra. Durra is like a gun today. Durra is a short stick. At the top of it, it has something, you know, something.
It's like a club.
Yeah. And then he would hit people in the market, hit them on their head, hit them on their chest, hit them on their face. He will hit. Durra. It's well known. The durra of Umar is well known. He would go to the market and this is violence. How can, imagine today a minister or prime minister or a mayor goes to the market and then he hits people. They put him in jail immediately. Did the Prophet use this? Did the Prophet had asa. The Prophet himself, he had a cane. Anas, his servant, he says, Khadamtu Rasulillah, 11 years I was serving him. I never saw him hitting anyone with his, not even his animal. He would not hit. Illa an yuqatil. The only time he raises his hand, his arm in the battlefield. Okay. Imam al-Razi has a beautiful interpretation here. Fakhr al-Razi, Tafsir al-Kabir. Tafsir al-Kabir, this is the most important tafsir, by the way. The most important tafsir in the Sunni tradition is a Tafsir al-Kabir, the grand tafsir of Imam al-Fakhr al-Razi. He says, Umar states that I am going to forbid them. وَأَنَا أَنْهَى عَنْهُمَا. Two things. One of them is mut'atun nisa, the timed marriage. The second, mut'atul hajj, I'm going to explain it to you soon. أَنَا أَنْهَى عَنْهُمَا. So Imam al-Razi, his analysis, he says, أنهما مشروعتان غير منسوختين. They are not abrogated because it was Umar. وأنه هو الذي نسخهما. It was Umar who did the abrogation. وما لم ينسخه الرسول فلا ناسخ له أبدا. If things are not abrogated by the Prophet himself, nobody can abrogate them afterwards.
This is what Fakhr al-Razi
Yes, in his book, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It's volume 10, page 53 through 55, through 54. So, but then Fakhr al-Razi, he admits, says Umar did this and he has no right. But then there are other scholars who give the benefit of doubt to Umar ibn al-Khattab. One of them is Al-Qawshaji. There is a book, Al-Qawshaji, he is one of the Sharh Tajreed Al-I'tiqad. I have the book in my library. He is one of the ulama of Kalam. In the Sunni tradition, he's not faqih because they categorize the scholars. This is mufassir, this is muhaddith from hadith, narrator of hadith. This is usuli, this is faqih, and this is kalami. Kalami is what? Theologian. When they say kalami, from ilmul kalam. Ilmul kalam is theology, philosophy. Because he's a specialist in what? Ilmul kalam is specialist in what?
Unity of
Aqa'id, aqidah, doctrines. He says that Umar said on the pulpit, ثلاث كنا على عهد رسول الله. This hadith is well known. Not only this guy narrates this hadith, many scholars, that one day he said three things, they did exist during the time of the Prophet. وَأَنَا أُحَرِّمُهُمَا. Today I forbid them. وَأُعَاقِبْ عَلَيْهِمَا. And I punish if I hear someone is breaching this law, I'm going to punish him. Number one, mut'atul nisa. Okay? Number two, mut'atul hajj. I'm going to speak about it soon. The third one, وَحَيَّ عَلَى خَيْرِ الْعَمَلِ. Because if you tell people حَيَّ عَلَى خَيْرِ الْعَمَلِ, they're not going to do jihad. They say, this is خَيْرُ الْعَمَلِ. Why do I waste my time in jihad? I said, so let's not say salat is خَيْرُ الْعَمَلِ. خَيْرُ الْعَمَلِ now is jihad. We have to send them to the battlefield. Then what does this man say? See how he justifies these sayings. He says, this is not wrong what Umar did. Yes, we admit that Umar said these three things were legalized and practiced during the time of the Prophet. But now I forbid them and I punish for them. Still he's okay, he can do that. Why? فإن, listen to this is very critical. فإن مخالفة المجتهد لغيره في المسائل الاجتهادية ليس ببدع. He says the Prophet is mujtahid and Umar is mujtahid. And we all know that if I am a mujtahid and you are a mujtahid, you say something and I am a mujtahid, I can oppose you because I'm a mujtahid. I have my own opinion. So he puts Umar equal to the Prophet.
So that's from him.
This is from Al-Qawshaji. This is one of the greatest ulama, scholar of Kalam in this book, Sharh Tajrid al-I'tiqad.
He was a Kalami.
Kalami, yes, yeah. He's speaking about the Aqidah. That the Prophet is mujtahid and Umar is mujtahid. So if Umar says, yes, the Prophet legalized this, he has the right to illegalize it because he's mujtahid too. And we know that it's very customary that a mujtahid can oppose another mujtahid because both of them are mujtahid.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? The Prophet is just mujtahid. The Prophet is not saying from God, he is mujtahid. This is how they treat the Prophet. This is exactly how they treat the Prophet. Believe me, their respect, some of them, for the second caliph outweighs their respect to the Prophet. Believe me. Believe me.
What was in history that led to this strong affinity to Umar versus the Prophet? What did he do? Was it this anger? Was it this? They had MBS
now in Saudi Arabia. MBS.
It is, huh?
Do you know how many people love this guy? They worship him. How many Saudis in Saudi Arabia? They love this guy. They know there is a blood on his hand. They know very well. But they worship him. The Imam of the Grand Mosque in Mecca was saying this is a gift from God. Go and follow his speech. You know Saddam Hussein, how many people until now, they sanctify him. He's an Arab hero. He's a great leader. He brought dignity. He brought freedom. He had courage. Go to Morocco now. Go to Tunisia. Say, I'm from Iraq. I was there the other day. Why you are from Iraq? Wow, Saddam Hussein, such a great person. Immediately. They love you because of Saddam Hussein. Same thing, Imagine now during the time of media, mass information, mass communication, everything is being pictured. You can see the picture, the movie. It's not a story you can see everything live on television. You can see the violations, you can see the killing, the murder, and still that person is being sanctified. Some people have choice. They have choice. Some people are drawn to goodness. Some people have defects. Defects. Don't we have people now who sanctify Hitler? Now. They love him. They love it. They still love him. How many people in this nation, they elected this guy who's in the White House now? Over 60 million people. And they still love him. And they would elect him again. So this is a choice. Allah created people with brain, with reason. إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلِ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. He was celebrated because some people deep inside, they don't like the Prophet. They don't like the Prophet. Or they are misled. Like one of them, after 70 years, who shifted, he said, I was completely misled. I was naive. I did not study history with critical thinking. Not with a critical, but when I studied the history and I saw, it's enough. One thing is enough to indict this man. One thing only. I always say one thing. When he refused the Prophet to write his will. إِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيَهْجُرُ. This man is hallucinating. This is enough to indict this man. This crime alone. Sitting in front of the Prophet is pleading to them. And of course the Prophet, he was able to write. He would say, Ali, bring me he can write, he can ask, he can say it. But it was a test from Allah. Allah wanted to expose them. It was a test. That see those people who were with him 23 years, claiming that we are loyal, we follow. Look at the last minute what they do. God wanted to expose them. It's a test. They failed the test. Some people believe in his chivalry, that he was a man. Yes, he was courageous. In fact, he was anything but courageous. Because in the battlefield, he's the first one to run away. The first one. So this is not courage. And not only, I'm amazed of this man when he says Umar is mujtahid. The Sunnis in their books, many places in their books, they say Umar admitted many times in public, حَتَّى النِّسَاء أَفْقَهُ مِنْكَ يَا عُمَرْ. Even women have more fiqh and understanding of the Quran than you, Umar. He says this about himself. In many places, when he was asked in the spot and he didn't have the answer, in one place he said, كُلُّ النَّاسِ. All people have more knowledge than you. In some places, حَتَّى النِّسَاء. Even women, because at that time women were, third class, fifth class. So even women are better than you in their understanding. Now,
so say he had no personal story that happened to him on why he would bend Matab, because he seems like, let's say, a reactionary type of person that might. He had no event that happened to him, or.
It could be. There are stories. This is a class. This is a lesson. I don't want to bring something unsubstantiated.
Yeah.
There are stories.
Yeah.
Now, whether they are right or wrong, we don't know. That he saw, for instance, some of his relatives, they were involved in this, female relatives, and he didn't like it. So he became very enraged, and then he stopped this. But the Sunnis, they say, these are the stories I'm going to tell you, that he saw some incidents where he didn't like. For instance, he saw a lady being pregnant and he didn't know about her marriage. He thought that she's still single. then when he found out that she's married secretly to someone else through the mut'ah, he was enraged. So this is why he decided from now on, we have to stop this. Some contemporary scholars, they justify his action as he wanted to prevent social and moral chaos in the society, because some people, they misuse the mut'ah. And now we have it in some countries, in some societies, too much. But don't people also misuse the permanent marriage? How many people misuse it? How many divorces we have here? Many people, they can misuse the permanent marriage. They can misuse anything. Anything could be misused. Any ibadah. Hajj can be misused. Okay? Salat could be misused. Salatul Jum'ah, the pulpit which is sacred, the Imam stands in Salatul Jum'ah inside Masjid al-Haram and he praises the zalim, the tyrant, the dictator. So should we ban Salatul Jum'ah? Ban it because one or two are misusing the pulpit? We can't. Yes, you have to educate. Education is not banning. Banning someone who is a failure, he resort immediately to ban. Like, let's say in this class, on Saturday or Sunday, we have 2 or 3 students are fighting with each other. And I'm the principal of the school. Should I close the school because 3 students are fighting? No. 3 students are fighting, but the rest are listening and learning. So I have to discipline those 3. Not to, the solution is not to shut down the school. Not to shut down the school. Imam Ali has a beautiful, because Imam Ali was one of the fierce opponents of this banning the mut'ah. And he mentioned to Umar many times that what you did is wrong. It's wrong and it has consequences. And Imam Ali said, what are the consequences? He said, لولا تحريم عمر, if it wasn't, and this hadith has been narrated by 2. Some people attribute the hadith to Imam Ali, some people to Abdullah ibn Abbas. The Sunnis, they attribute that to Abdullah ibn Abbas. The Shi'as, they attribute that to Imam Ali alayhi salam. لولا تحريم عمر للمتعة, if it wasn't for the prohibition of Umar to the time marriage, ما زنا إلا شقي. Nobody would fornicate unless that is who really very, he's a devil. He's a devil. He's a pure evil. And now we can see in the societies. You think people, they do not fornicate? They don't have rash? The other day they found a religious leader, universal religious leader. I don't mention his name on the camera. Off the camera I would tell you his name. He admitted in the court in France, in Paris, recently. Universal. Yes, I had relationships out of wedlock. But if he had this solution, halal solution. And then we will come to it, because some Sunnis, when tomorrow inshallah we will say, they say, listen, this is not a marriage because there is no mirath, no inheritance. So you cannot call it marriage. But we have many marriages where the wife, even if she's your permanent wife, she doesn't have the right to what? To mirath. One of them, if she's one of the people of book, she did not convert. She has no right to the mirath. She's excluded. Okay? One of them, if the wife murders her husband, she's not entitled for mirath. She was his wife, permanent wife, but now she cannot get. So it doesn't mean that if you don't have access to mirath, then you are not a wife. Okay? So they bring these arguments, whereas this one has rules. First of all, it has ijab and qabul, agreement. Okay? It's not that you pick up someone from the street. Just like the permanent one. Permanent one, how long it takes to do permanent aqd? How long? 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. Believe me, 20 seconds. 10 seconds. Even 10 seconds. If you know, if you are expert, in 10 seconds. She says, زوجتك نفسي قبلت التزويج. How long it takes? This is permanent marriage. You agree upon the dowry. The dowry is Quran. Immediately she says, زوجتك نفسي. You say قبلت التزويج. 5 seconds. So, and that is permanent life. 50 years she would live with you. 70 years. Doesn't need all this, preparation. So it has ijab proposal from the wife, qabul, acceptance from the husband. She has to be single, not married, not within iddah, not within her waiting period, okay? And it has to be, if she's a virgin, it has to be with the agreement of her father. The father has to agree. If she's not virgin, this is her second marriage, okay? She's divorcee or widow or whatever, then there is no need for her father's, approval. But if she's virgin, you need her father approval. And you can have shuhud. The Sunnis, they say it is secret. Why? I've done it here in the office, not secret. We have shuhud, witnesses, and we write them a certificate. It's not, And the mirath, they can put a condition. You know that. It's not forbidden in Islam. It's not forbidden that she's not entitled. No, she can put a condition. Listen, I'm a temporary wife, but you have to agree that I have a share in your inheritance. If he says yes, then she has a share. Nafaqa, yes. If they don't agree, she doesn't have nafaqa, no provision. But if she says, yes, I need nafaqa, you give me $2,000 a month, $1,000 a month, $100 a month. If he agrees to that, then it's binding.
Maulana, if there is a pregnancy, then it becomes
absolutely, absolutely. No. This is milkul yamin. This is milkul yamin. That's another rule. That's not marriage. That's when he has relationship with one that he owns, milkul yamin. But not temporary marriage. But temporary marriage, he's recognized, he's a son, and the son is a full son, not half son, part-time son. Full son who has access to his father's inheritance and وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين